Hey, 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 welcome to the show, everybody. We got to get out of this place. If it's the last thing we ever do. Okay, that was the song that was playing. That's from a long time ago. What was that? Eric Burden and the Animals or something like that? Something like that, anyway. A great song back in the day when we were listening to those kind of songs. Um, yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Hey, your city, your voice. Here we are. And it's Straight Talk Thursday. And I'm gonna do this button because it's a little bit toasty in here. It's hot in the summer, hot in the winter. We got good heat. Let me put it that way. I got the window open, believe it or not, on this 40-degree day or 44-degree day out there. Anyway, your city, your voice, 4680Q Radio in downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Coming to you live on 4680Q every day at noon. You want to tune in on the internet. There's that fly. I thought they died in the winter. Yeah, you can tune in live at noon, and then I take the podcast, which I am recording right out there for all you YouTube viewers, and toss it up. It's usually around 3 o'clock when it gets on YouTube. So there you go. You can watch it on that, X, Rumble, Truth Social. It's on all those platforms. And who knows what else I'm going to have it on one of these days when I get around to it. Oh, excuse me. As soon as I get in the studio, I start coughing. Go figure. Go figure. Okay, so got lots to talk about today. It was 41 degrees when I got up at 4 this morning. Barometer on the rise, though, 20 points higher than yesterday at 20.09, which means clear weather's coming. Now, they called for rain today. It was only 68% humidity, so we could get some rain today, and I haven't seen it yet. Northern lights are flashing bright at night, though. I haven't seen those neither. How come everybody sees them except me? Did you see the northern lights? No, I didn't. I've never seen them in my life. I've never seen northern lights. I've seen a lot of things in my life late in the morning, but not northern lights. So we had all that snow. It's all gone now. It's all gone, and we're getting into a drier pattern, I think, here. Now is the time you want to get your car into Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Why? Because you want to be proactive. You've had a taste of the winter, a taste of the snow. It was miserable out there. The last day you want to break down is when it's like that miserable, cold, damp, snowy, rainy, sleety day. Take it into Ken Hunter at Wild Bill's Auto. Ken is going to put your car on his diagnostic equipment. He's going to find out if there's any problems with the operating system of your car and fix them. He's going to make sure your brakes are good, your defrosters work, your heater works, just everything's right. Get your winter tires on if you choose to run winter tires. Make sure your car is all set to go for the winter. He's got a full body shop there. If you get in a wreck, you can take your car in, and your car will get fixed and sent back to you in showroom condition. Ken at Hunter at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership, wildbillsauto.ca. Check out all the services they offer. You can make an appointment and everything. Now, while you're there, don't forget to flip over to YouTube. Look for Your City, Your Voice or Paul Lemire, my name, Paul Lemire, and subscribe to the channel. Come on, I got 187 subscribers. We're looking for 200 before the end of the year. Share the video with your friends. Tell your friends to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. It costs nothing. What are you waiting for? Not too much in this world is free. You can subscribe for free. It doesn't cost you a dime. Leave comments, thumbs up, thumbs down, help the algorithm. Let's get the show out there because we're getting into budget time, and in 1 year we're getting into the election, and we got to get people tuned in and aware. Make sure they get out to vote, and make sure they know why they're voting for any particular candidate. It could be time to remove candidates. Election day is the time to do that. Doesn't do you any good to yell and scream at them and carry on about anything if you're going to vote for the same people. Going to vote for the same people, shut the hell up and go in there and vote. If you don't like what you see, get out and vote and change it. That's where your voice really, really counts in the voting booth. So, We got Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue's my other sponsor, along with Hamill Machine Company. We'll talk about them later in the show, but for now, let's go into the show. Now, if you have a comment that you would like to make during the show, you're listening live on 4680Q, all you have to do is message me at 289-994-7560. That's 289-994-7560. I'll get the ding on this little baby here. Thank you, Gary Wilkins. And it will pop up and I'll be able to read it on air. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll read it right on air. We'll talk about it, whatever you have to say. So don't forget. Come on, let's go. Message me if you get a chance. I have viewer comments, but I'm going to leave them for tomorrow's show to wrap up the week. There's Johnny Convery over there. He's waving in the window. Oh, I see all kinds of people walking by and waving at me when they go by. I'm in the studio. I'm going to leave the comments for tomorrow. Maybe we'll get a couple more on today's show, and I'll read them tomorrow as well. Public service announcement. We're just doing some housekeeping here. Santa Claus Parade, Saturday, on Queen Street. Comes down Victoria Avenue and down Queen Street to City Hall. Santa and Mrs. Claus will be there. The parade starts at 4. So bring your kids down, have a good time, meet and greet with Santa and Mrs. Claus. It's fun for the whole family. Don't miss it. The city of Niagara Falls puts it on. Queen Street's all decorated. It looks nice at night. Yeah, they get all the lights up and everything. So come on, enjoy it. Come on down. They do it for you. That's who City Hall does it for. City Council does it for. It's for the residents of Niagara Falls. And if you don't come down here and support it, well, you won't see it anymore. And we know what happens. Okay, so Santa Claus Parade, pretty cool. I'll tell you about it again tomorrow. The city capital budget is out. If you want to look at it, go to niagarafalls.ca, city capital budget, or just Google it. It'll come up. 330 pages long. It's a chore to get through it all and take notes on it, which is what I do. I go through every page and I take notes. Now, there are these 330 pages. A lot of them are ledger-like and pretty easy to get through as far as reading them go. What they do is they'll tell you the expenditure, and then they'll give you a breakdown. Well, not a real big breakdown, but at least an idea of how much they're spending, what they're spending it on, and then how much they're going to, how they're going to cover the cost. Reserve funds, OLG money, casino money, whatever. But the problem is, in a lot of cases, they say where they're getting the money from, and they tell you what they're going to do with the money, but they don't break it down any further. You can't drill down and actually see item by item. So when they say $100,000 for this, $100,000 for that, you don't know whether they're spending it on a computer, a desk, or whatever. When they say office equipment, they really don't break it down. They tell you what they're doing, but you don't get a breakdown of pricing. So it's really hard to comment if they're overspending, underspending, if their procurement is doing its job. We don't know. I can only give you the numbers. I'm only giving you what I can see. And unless I see something that's outrageous, really, I figure it's just a part of operating the city. We know what it costs, and we go from there. So that's basically how you see it when you look at the capital budget. You see the cost, then you see where the money's coming from, and a brief explanation of what's included in that cost. But really, when they start moving money around from reserve funds to development charges to they move it through a bunch of different things, OLG, and it's hard to follow the money and what they're pulling stuff out for different things. I hope that through 16 pairs of eyes, right? 8 pairs of eyes, 16 eyes, 8 city councilors. They both have an eye each, eye, that when they take this and go through the 330 pages, if they take the capital budget seriously, they're going to come up with some good ideas on how we can be more efficient with taxpayers' dollars. Now, do I believe they're gonna? That's what they should be doing. Well, that's another question because we've seen what they did last year. And if that was a harbinger of things to come, 5 of the 8 counselors didn't even have one question about 330 pages of expenses. So I don't have a lot of faith. Now, 2 of the 3 that actually pretended they went through them, um, it was grandstanding. I mean, Councilor Patel said, well, let's send it back to city staff and tell them to make it lower. Let me tell Councilor Patel something. And she might not know this. I don't know if she knows this or not. Because why would you do that? Staff creates the budget. Now you're going to go tell them to look for more efficiencies. They gave you the budget. That's what they think they need to operate. You're asking the people who created the budget to do something to it. They're not gonna. They hand it to the mayor. He hands it to you. You have to come up with the suggestions that they can look into. Sending it back to them is useless. So that's just grandstanding. That's just pretending that you actually did something when you didn't. Now, Councillor Van Nieuwesteg, she came up with a $50,000 saving on the $27 million police budget. That's the best she could do. And that's a joke. Come on, 50 grand on a $27 million budget? Why bother? It's like somebody come up to you and say, can I have a dime? And you give them a dime. I mean, it's not going to break you. Like this is like a nothing. Why even suggest that to save the taxpayers money? It saves them nothing. 1% is $700,000. That's like a 20th of a percent. It's irrelevant. Like it's crazy. You might as well just say, here's a toonie, go have a coffee. The only counselor that was on the ball was Councilor Coco. And she had a spreadsheet of efficiencies, well over $1 million worth of efficiencies. I don't think they did any of them, but which at least she did her homework page by page and pulled stuff out of there that amounted to a decent sum, like over $1 million. Is over 1% off your tax bill. So it's something, right? The others just put up their hand, even though Dabrowski and Patel, Chris Dabrowski, Councilor Dabrowski, said they didn't like the budget, blah, blah, blah. But, they give you all the bull. And then when they sit down, they go, let's vote in favor. Yeah, they put their hands up. I think Councilor Lococo was the only one who put her hand against it because she didn't agree with line items in there and she couldn't approve it like that. So she voted against it. I mean, she was outvoted 7-1 anyway. So my hope this year is that several of the counselors get more involved. They actually go through it and pick out some stuff that they think they could change. And if they don't, if they go through it and they don't have anything, that's fine too. I mean, they may have faith in staff and think that every one of those expenditures are fine, which they could be because they have more information than I do. I can only go by what I look at and what I see. But at the end of the day, we're looking down the barrel of a proposed 6% tax increase. I don't think it'll be that. They usually come in and they'll drop it to 4.9 or something. They'll give us a percent off. It's an election year. Maybe they'll really get randy this year. Cut a few more things, but let's hope they go in there. And I really have a lot of faith in Councilor Cario. He's run a budget this big before. He knows how to cut. I mean, in one of his hotels, if there was a 6% operating loss, he's going to make sure that the next year that they don't lose 6%. And when you look at raising our taxes 6%, that means the city has an operating and capital budget loss of 6%. That's why they want it from us. So as a business, they're in the whole 6%, and they want to make it up by taxing us more. In a business, you're out 6%. Well, you make it up by finding efficiencies because you only can raise your room rates or whatever else, depending on the kind of business, your food prices by so much before they become so high, nobody's going to actually come to your restaurant or stay at your hotel or whatever business that you have. So I'm hoping Vince Cario can add something to this year's budget. He's got the experience. He's been there before in city council dealing with this kind of stuff. So I'm looking for some good things from him. Okay, that kind of explains where we're going here. And I'm going to start with page 12. It's a great place to start. I always talk about council passing a budget and then finding extra money during the year. I constantly talk about this. Last year, they found 10 million. And for 2025, they found 12 million extra money. They spent over and above what they okayed for the capital budget. And here's the conundrum. If they can find $12 million during the year extra to spend, why can't they find money to drop our tax rate to zero? Why are taxes going up every year? Page 12 tells you that last year's council approved a budget and then spent $12.76 million more than they approved. So if that money was available, why didn't they use it against our taxes to give us a zero increase last year? All we need out of that $12.76 million is $3.5 million. That $3.5 million would have brought our taxes to zero. So that's my question. And the year before was 10 million, and once again we got a 5% increase. So 3.5 of that 10 million they found over and above what they approved. They come up with this money hocus pocus. Well, why wasn't it applied to our taxes to give us a 0% increase? Nobody can ever answer that. They give you all these things. They do big presentations to confuse you. But the bottom line is the money is there. We shouldn't have to pay any taxes. We should be at zero. We get 20 million a year from the casino. And then we have another 12 million left over. And then we got another 40 or 50 million from the sale of Niagara Regional Broadband that nobody's accounted for yet. You think they could find 3.5 million for us? Let's call it the casino dividend. Donald Trump's giving everybody in the United States back $2,000. He's calling it a tariff dividend. Why can't we get a casino dividend or some kind of dividend? Okay. Anyway, look at page 12. It'll tell you the story. Page 17 is another one you have to be looking at. This is the consolidated budget and gives you all the numbers in a couple pages. The expenditures, funding sources, and the overall picture of the capital budget. It's not a breakdown by department. You'll see that as you go through the 330 pages. But you will see some interesting numbers, like consulting fees are budgeted for $10.6 million this year. We pay consultants with all the people we have at City Hall working, all our planners, all our engineers, all the 50, 70 people they've hired over the last couple of years, all the money they spend, we still spend $10 million on consultants. Now, where's that money come from? Well, you got to go through all the 330 pages to figure it out. The total capital budget this year is set at $78,493,531, about a 50% increase on last year's capital budget. That's right. Now, you'll see forecasts for future years, but pay no attention to them because the numbers are fugazi. Where they got these numbers from, they make no sense. For example, they want to pass a $78 million budget this year for 2026, then anticipate a $21.9 million budget for 2027. Come on. You don't drop from 78 million to 29 million. That's nonsense. It's not going to happen. So when you see projections like that, just don't even pay attention to them. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Now, page 20 is the CAO division. He wants a $750,000 for other. Okay. And this is what I mean when you look through these pages. You'll see a lot of others with money allocated to other. Now, they're claiming the 750,000. If you drill down and go through this, that it's for the meteor crater development. Now, why they need another 750,000? I don't know. They've already spent 3 or 4 million on it, 2 million to clean it up, and all kinds of other stuff. And he needs the CAO another $316,000 for vehicles and equipment. So what do we got? Our CAO driving around in a Rolls Royce? $316,000 for the CAO's office for equipment. Yeah, what do we got? A new Rolls Royce Spectre rolling around the city? Oh my goodness. Anyway, there's a breakdown to see exactly where the money's going, like what it's being allocated to, what kind of vehicles, what kind of equipment, and exactly what the 750,000 is going to be used to. And this is the problem, we don't know, but I can tell you, you look on page 20, you will see that. So let's move on. Page 47, CAO's office. Now, we talked about the 750,000, and they tell you it's to build, it's investigation to partner up with people and that kind of thing to build the 10-story apartment building at the meteor crater. So they give you a little bit of an idea what it's for. And I don't know if it's been, the way it reads, it's been sold to a developer. But I also remember a city council meeting where they said they're going to start a real estate company, Niagara Falls City Council, to deal with properties like this where they can't find a developer. They want to go in partnership with the developer. So I don't know if that 750,000 is going towards that kind of thing. We don't know. Hopefully, one of the counselors will ask about that. I mean, 1 point some odd million for the CAO's office. We should find out where he's spending the money. Not that I don't trust the Penguin. See, you got to understand that these are questions council should ask, not because they don't trust them, but because there may be efficiencies there. Wherever they can see a possibility of efficiencies that save us, the taxpayers' money, that's what they should be looking at. Page 81, we're getting through it. From that page to 81, I didn't see anything that was really questioning, that I was questioning so much. City Council Chamber and Exchange updates. One thing mentioned was digital voting systems for City Hall. Now, they're talking about councilors voting on certain things. Now, I don't know why we have to spend money on a digital voting system. I mean, you've got 8 people voting, and they have to do it digitally. Is that what they're talking about? Somebody should question this because we don't need that. In a hidden part of the $175,000 they want to spend on this is for the exchange. Now, we just spent $17 million on the exchange not that long ago. And we've already spent another $60,000 or something because they have to redo the stage. Now they want to redo the exchange so they can have city council's meetings there or other kinds of meetings there. They want cameras, they want microphones so they can stream. They want the whole 10 yards. Like, I don't understand why this wasn't all done when they built it. I mean, $17 million, and now they want to spend more. And what really bothers me is part of the exchange money is hidden in the city council chamber improvements. So the exchange is turning into a bottomless pit for taxpayers. I can't wait to see their balance sheet at the end of the year. I mean, the market moved out because it wasn't suitable. They moved back to McBain Center. Any businesses in there moved out because there's no business. They have the odd thing there, but that's it. I can't even imagine they're covering their costs. I can't imagine that. We'll see. But I can almost guarantee you they're not. It's a white elephant, and I'll talk tomorrow about what I want to do with it. But anyway, they essentially closed down city council for a couple months here, redid the front for I don't know what the heck front for servicing customer service and that kind of thing. Anyway, but all these little projects like this, 175,000 and other ones, come over to the OLG fund. So they're spending that money on this kind of stuff. So that's another question I want to ask. What's this 175,000 for? Page 85. Now this is a dandy. 2.1 million for a very high importance, because they rate them. Very important, kind of important, medium important, no high urgency, stuff like that. Now, 2.1 million for a very high important expenditure on the information system we've already spent. I don't even know how many millions of dollars on. 5, 6, 7 million. I don't know. Got an open check for that. Well, what is this for? That 2.1 million to hire people to run it. Now, now you tell me we put in a system and we don't have people that can run it. Oh yeah, we need a project manager and people that can run it. Why the heck did we get this and install it if we don't have people to run it? Where's the money coming from? Well, I'll let you guess. Dun dun. OLG funding, of course. Of course, bingo, you're right. That's where they're going to get it from, the OLG fund for project manager and people that can run the information system that we've installed and without the right people to run it. I hope somebody asks about that. Okay, I'm going to get to my second sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And you know, whenever you want to get a good pizza, you're looking for a place that can make the pizza good and they can make it good consistently. That's the problem. You go there one day, it's tremendous. You go there the next time and it sucks. You're not going to find that at Pizza Pizza. Why? You ask? Well, because they use the Mancini family recipe for their sauce and their crust, two of the most important parts of pizza. Now, you use quality Saputo mozzarella. You take brick cheese, you blend it, and then you know how to put the cheese on the pizza in the right ratio to the sauce. Once you've done that, you're on your way to a fantastic pizza. And if you do it consistently, like Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue does, you got a winner every time. And they know how to do it. They cook it up just right. Fresh toppings. How can you go wrong? You're going to get a great pizza every time. It's good. It's consistent. That's why I like Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And how do you get one of these beautiful pizza pies? Well, what you do is you dial 905-374-2222. And while you're getting a pizza, how about some wings? Oh, they make really, really good wings. And they have poutine and steak and cheese poutine and panzerotti, steak and cheese sandwiches. They have, what do I want to say? I want to say a new chicken parm sandwich. And you know what? They opened another store in Northwest Niagara Falls on Kaler Road and Thoroldstone Road. So the people out in the northwest section of Niagara Falls, you can get yourself a great pizza now too without coming all the way down to Victoria Avenue. Pete's Pizza Victoria Avenue. Get your pizza today. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. Open till 2 in the morning Friday and Saturday until midnight during the week for your convenience. You want to be a winner? Get it from Pete's Pizza, and they use Dine, Skip, and everything else. Support our sponsors. They're great corporate citizens. They support the city, and we want to support small business in the city. Every time I mention the word pizza, I feel good. I don't know why. Okay, let's move on through these 100 pages, the first 100 pages. Page 87, IT hardware replacement, $400,000. So they actually give you what they're going to buy for $400,000. 50 computers, 60 laptops, 20 tablets, 40 monitors, 10 wireless access points, 50 smartphones, 6 displays at various locations around the city. It's funny. I got a computer from 1990 something that still works fine for me. I use it. So they're talking about, um, I have 2 computers that I write my show with. One that I use for research, and that's pretty fast. It's relatively new, but I'm still talking 7 years old, maybe more. And one is I use for a word processor to write the show every day. You see these sheets, that's where it comes from. So I know what I'm talking about. I have all the stats at my fingertip. Oh yeah, I prepare. Now, I don't know why at one time they need 50 computers and 60 laptops, 20 tablets, 40 monitors, and a partridge in a pear tree. 10 wireless access points, 50 smartphones, 6 displays at various locations around the city. Now, I'm not sure what that means. Maybe they're video signs. I don't know what they're talking about. But 400 grand out of your taxpayer dollars is going to buy that. My point is, do we really need 50 computers? We get away with 25. They say they have a lifespan of 3 to 8 years. We need 60 laptops, which they say only lasts 3 to 5 years. And on and on and on and on. Do we really need to spend 400 grand on all this new equipment with a project expenditure in 2027? The future prediction of another 1.2 million for the same things? The money's being transferred from the operations account, which means that budget is short 400 grand already. And I know there's probably more coming from that. I haven't added them all up. But the thing is, do we really need these? And this is where city councilors have to ask these questions because, okay, we save 200,000 there and 100,000 here. Before you know it, you're at $700,000 you've saved, and that's a point on your taxes. Instead of 4.9%, it'd be 3.9%. So these things add up, and do we really need all this equipment right now? We're spending 1.2 million next year. So that's what they say they're going to do. So these are the kind of things you got to look for when you go through the capital budget and you're going line by line and looking what they're spending money on. And what I usually do is just look at it, things that look weird to me. Like, we need 50 laptops and 60 this and say 40 that. Do we really need this stuff? That's my question. Can we get by another year and maybe lessen the tax burden this year? And I know they call it kicking it down the road. I know they do that, but we've had tax increases of 25% over the last 4 years. We haven't kicked a lot down the road, believe me. And do they need them? I don't know. Until we ask, we don't know. But somebody should ask the question. That's what I'm saying. With all this, somebody should ask the question. These are what our counselors should be asking. Now, if they're asking them outside of the meeting, when the point comes up, they may want to say, well, I talked to them about that, and yeah, their equipment's decrepit. It's no good. It slows them down. Time is money. I get it. But I'd like to hear somebody ask the question. I asked about that. I know some people were asking about it, so I asked about it. Okay, page 97. We're getting through the 100, and we're only 35 minutes into the show, so that's good. Page 97. This is one to look at since it lays out 35.2 million of capital project expenditures, almost 50% of the $78 million they're budgeting this year. $12 million of that, 33%, so a third, is dedicated to the South Tourist Core for water main replacement and sewer expansion. So when looking at $35.2 million, you can look through it if you want. I know 33% is going towards that South Tourism Core. and the other 66% is going through the rest of the city. So that's a good thing. I mean, probably the right ratio, right? A third, 2/3. So that's all right. You can look through it and see if you've picked out anything. I didn't pick out anything really weird about it. I'm just telling you what they're spending. Maybe you'll see something that looks weird to you. I didn't see anything. So I can't, I'd have to look closer at it. And like I say, we don't get all the details. We get the numbers, but we don't get all the details. But you should look at it. Look at it. It's your money, $35 million of your money, half the budget that they're putting aside. So yeah, you may want to take a look at it. Page 98 is a further breakdown with 3.2 million allocated for 2026 annual fleet vehicle replacement. We don't know what they need. We can't drill down to find out what they're buying with 3.2 million, but I know 2 years ago they spent 14 million, 14 and a half million on new equipment. So I'm just wondering what they're buying here for $3.2 million, and it doesn't tell you. So city councilors have to go and find out what they're spending this money on. Do we really need to spend it? Do we spend half of that and get by? See, this is the problem. We don't know. And as citizens, we really can't get an answer except from our city councilors. And they have to ask the question. They have to go to staff and ask the question, and then they can make a recommendation. Well, we can put that off for this, that, and we don't have to spend that. And they can come up with their own capital budget, which might be 70 million. If they take it seriously and look at it, it might be 72 million. But remember, every $700,000 they save us on the budget is 1% on our taxes. Right? Always keep that number in mind. Adding a million takes our taxes up 1%. Taking off a million, 700,000, takes our taxes down. Always remember that. So when you're looking for efficiencies, that's what you got to remember: the effect it has on your bottom line taxes. Okay, and now the last page, page 99. here's a dandy. Another one we have to question. 4.2 million for EV charger installations at various locations. Now, how many EV charging stations do we get for 4.2 million? That was my first question. We don't know the total expenditure for municipal works. Or sorry, we do know that the total expenditures for municipal work comes in at 57.2 million, with consulting taking $4.6 million bite out of that, and 8.9 million in total for vehicles and equipment. Now, doing some math, if they're spending 4.2 million on EV charging stations, and I looked it up, what's the average cost of an EV charging station? I Googled it. It was around $10,000 and probably was about in US dollars. So say 15,000, but let's just use 10,000. That's 420 stations. Okay, 420 stations. We're not installing 420 stations in the city. We know that. We know that. We're not going to install 420 stations. So exactly what is the 4.2 million being spent on? How many of these? Were they putting them in how many? And that's a question I don't have an answer to, but I certainly hope councilors say 4.2 million. How many of these things are we putting in? And what's the average cost of one? And find out if that's a good deal or not, or what the heck they're doing. Do we need 4.2 million worth? Do we only need 2.1 million worth? They already got a whack over here at the Thompson building. You see all the EVs lined up. Oh, I can't even imagine in 10 years when they start going for a crap what it's going to cost the city on the capital budget, because they only have a certain lifetime, and they're going to start running less and less and less as the batteries discharge. You're supposed to get 10 years. You probably get 5 to 7 that they're still efficient and you can run the whole day on them, something like that. We'll see. And then we're going to see it. I don't know who's going to see it. Not me. I won't be here, but somebody's going to see it. And I wonder if they're planning for that already. Who knows? So basically, there you go. That's the first 100 pages. Check it out yourself. See what you think. I'm sure you can find all sorts of expenditures that you would question. And I'm sure if someone took the time, they could find millions of dollars cut from the budget. Remember, every 700,000 is 1% off your tax bill. It's worth going through it. And we hope our city councils who are working for us, they're public servants. They work for us. And we've hired them to go through these numbers and find us efficiencies and keep our taxes low. You know, I've got a folder at home, this thing. And in last election, when everybody was running, I have a page that I wrote out for every single person who was running that came into this studio. And I can guarantee you 99% talked about low taxes, keeping taxes low, and housing and homelessness. When we look out in the street, our taxes haven't been low. We've had increases every single year that this council has been in, and they've equaled around probably 4, 5, 5, 10, 17, 18, about 18 or 19% compounded, probably 20% in the 3 years they've been in charge. And the homeless situation is worse than it ever was. But we're going to have an election next year. And God willing, I'm going to be sitting here. When I'm going to be sitting here, I'm going to be pulling out those sheets. And I'm going to be talking about every candidate and what they said on those sheets. Am I going to have them in the studio like I did before? I don't know. I don't know if I feel like talking to them. The people who are new who are running have no clue. And most of them anyway. Some are really good. And the ones who are already there just give you a gaslight you. They give you lip service. They tell you they're going to do this and that and blah, 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 blah. You know, and you know, we look around and we say, well, after 3 years, what have they done? And don't worry, the Diamond and Coal show is coming up in December. That's right. We're going to say whether these city councils get diamonds in their Christmas stocking from taxpayers or they get lumps of coal. We did it last year, and I'm doing it again this year. We'll see who gets diamonds and who gets coal. Old King Cole was a merry old soul. So that's the first 100 pages. Gone through them. I'm going to do the next 100 on Monday. I think I can get through the rest of the 100 pages. I'm at page 1 something, maybe 150 or something. I got 50 more pages to go through. I'll have time on the weekend to do it. And we'll talk about the next 100 pages. And then we got another 130 pages to go. It's a lot of work. And I tip my hat to the counselors who actually sit down, take the time to go through it, because it is a lot of work. It's very easy not to, saying, well, staff knows what they're doing. Whatever they say, we'll go with. And they come into the council meeting and raise their hand with nothing to say, like they did last year, most of them. Then you get the other ones who don't really want anybody to think they didn't go through it. So they give you some baloney numbers and go through some baloney stuff. And then you got Councilor Lori Lococo, who goes through every page. And I know, because if I have a question about something, I usually text her and say, hey, Lori, what is this? And I usually get an answer back. So when I have questions, that's who I turn to, because I know I can depend that she's gone through it and going through it, and she knows what I'm talking about. I can't depend on the other ones to do that. I don't know whether they do or not, but I'm not going to waste my time trying to find out. I'm waiting for replies. I know Lori's right on the ball. And I know Chris Dabrowski will say, I always talk good about Lori and bad about everybody else. No, I just know who does the work. And if I don't agree with her, I don't agree with her. And there's some things I don't agree with her on. I'm a conservative, remember. I don't like these liberal DEI and all that crap that some of the liberals like. So if they come up with that stuff, flag raisings for everybody, and then I don't like that. And I'll say they should get rid of it. Okay, so that's that. That's the 100 pages. Take it for what it's worth. Go through it yourself. Leave me comments, please. Leave me comments. And of course, I will talk about them on air. I never got any comments so far, but if you want to comment on any of that, if you're listening live, um, you can text me at 289-994-7560. Now, we talk about crime. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about crime here. I always talk about it because it's one sore spot I have with this Canada. But before we do that, I want to get to my third sponsor, Hamel Machine Company. Man, 100 pages, 45 minutes just to talk about just a small portion of them. My third sponsor is Hamel Machine Company. Of course, they've been around Niagara Falls since 1948, helping, oh man, so many industries, the region, the city, the wine industry, the agricultural products, food product industry, the food products industry. I mean, they've done it all. And why? Because they're innovators. When a company breaks down, when machines break down, these companies want to get them fixed immediately because time is money today. When you're shut down, you can't wait for parts to come in from Hong Kong or Taiwan or anything else. You need it fixed now. They pick up the phone, they call Hamel. Hamel goes down there. Bob Benner and his staff of wizards. I call them wizards because they can do things that a lot of other people can't do. They go down and they look at the machine and they say, yeah, we can fix that part. Oh, we can reverse engineer that part on our 3D printers or our with our water jet cutters. We can cut a new one, no problem. We can machine it. We can mill it. And not only that, we're going to make it better. We think we can make your machine more efficient. Efficiency saves money. It makes money because it produces more. That's how Hamel Machine Shop operates. That's what they do for small businesses, not only in Niagara Falls, but their innovations are sent around the world. Check it out, hamelmachine.ca. You'll see the wild work they do. They know what they're doing, these guys. They have the engineers, they have the IT people, they have the graphic designers. They have everything to help not only you, because if you need something designed and built, they can do it. If you need your machine fixed, your snowblower, you spun the key in it, you snagged onto something and slipped the key or whatever you call it, they can fix it for you. They're that good. Or they can fabricate something or build it and weld it. They can fix things. Hamel Machine Company, been here since 1948. Trusted, tried, and true. They're just great people. Go to hamelmachine.ca. See all the crazy stuff they do. It's amazing. You'll be amazed at what they do for small and large industry and residents. Support our sponsors. They support the show. Thank you to our sponsors. We love you all, and we encourage everybody to support them. Hey, crime, crime. Every day is crime. I mean, I'm getting sick of this. Canada's criminal justice system blows, and I really mean it. So get this. This guy arrested and convicted of shooting a man during a 2021 drug deal. And that was only 4 years ago, right? He enlisted a 14-year-old last year to commit a robbery in Niagara Falls. 4:30 in the morning, he and a 14-year-old robbed a guy in a scooter, including taking the guy's scooter. Can you imagine this? Under the threat of a pointed handgun. The pair of criminals were located the following day with the police having to get the ETF, Emergency Task Force, out because of threat of weapons. When he and the teen were arrested, the guy had a loaded handgun on him. Well, I mean, first off, you got to say, what was he doing on the street in the first place after shooting a guy only 3 years before? Why was he not in jail? You know they're going to reoffend. I keep saying this. These guys come back out and they reoffend. Now he's got a 14-year-old kid involved. What's he doing with a 14-year-old kid? I mean, it's unbelievable. No amount of apologies, and I feel bads to the judges are going to change what they did. But these judges, I mean, this guy shot someone before. So what happens? Well, he was sentenced to 4.5 years in penitentiary where he's going to do 2.6 years. That's it. For having a loaded weapon while prohibited from having a weapon and convincing a 14-year-old to rob a helpless guy in a scooter. 2.6 years, he's going to be back on the streets doing it again. And you wonder why we have to pay our police force close to $250 million, keep the region safe while criminals like this are allowed to roam the streets by the judges and the courts. These left-wing, bleeding heart judges and courts, they refuse to keep them in jail. I mean, that's the reason we have to pay $250 million for our police force. And there's thousands of these cases every year, not only in Ontario and not only in Niagara Falls, but across Canada. I mean, 3 words would solve all this. Lock them up. For good. Not for good, for a long time anyway. 2.6 years, he'll be back on the street. The kid will be 16. They'll both be at it again. Bonnie and Clyde over here. Well, here's another beauty, too, while we're talking about crime. A guy gets stopped and has a cache of weapons in his car. Brass knuckles, firearms, ammunition, a stun gun, bear spray, a knife, a crossbow, a collapsible baton, a flare gun, and a machete, along with a 9mm magazine and sex toys. So what's the guy tell the judge? They're props for his rap video. I can't make this stuff up. I can't make it up. Now, this perpetrator was under a firearms probation order already and has had a number of previous convictions on weapons-related offenses, including importation of a firearm. Okay, so I set the scene for you. I set the scene. Stop in his car. They found brass knuckles, firearms, ammunition, a stun gun, bear spray, a knife, a crossbow, a collapsible baton, a flare gun, and a machete, along with a 9mm magazine that was loaded. They didn't find the gun that it belongs to. So, the judge says he shouldn't have these things under the probation order. No kidding. It feels these offenses are worth, now get ready for this, 2 months in lockup. Yep, 2 months and the guy's back in the streets, guns and all. But yeah, he has a lifetime ban on him owning weapons. He didn't care about that or worry about that. You think he's really going to worry about his prohibition on having weapons going forward? I mean, he's laughing at this idiot judge. He's also on 2 years probation when he got caught, which he couldn't care less about either, because if the cops pick him up in a month, he'll be sporting weapons and still be jobless. So ridiculous. But yeah, they don't lock him up. So this guy's going to be back on the streets in 2 months with a 2-year probation, which he couldn't care less about. Where's the first thing he's going? He's going to the guy in the corner to buy some more guns and weapons. If he doesn't get those back, who knows? Maybe they'll give them to him back. You can't believe what's going on. Here's some other headlines. When I talk about crime, it just drives me nuts. They won't lock these guys up. Niagara man on firearms ban, arrested with loaded handgun. Niagara shoplifting crackdown nets 20 arrests. Less than a year in jail for Niagara driver in hit and run that killed an 84-year-old cyclist. Man arrested after St. Catherine stabbing, and Welland man arrested on child porn charges. I can guarantee you all these people had charges before, and they're out on probation or whatever. And when we talk about the criminal justice system, this is what you see in the paper every day. Happens thousands of times a day in Ontario and millions or hundreds of thousands across Canada. And you wonder why Canada's considered one of the most dangerous countries in the world. That's why. And some people in the United States consider us a terrorist company because of what we let happen in this country. Now they're going to be flying the Palestinian flag at City Hall in Toronto, and I wouldn't doubt if we see it at our City Hall, supporting Hamas and terrorist groups. I'm telling you, this is the wackiest place I've ever seen. And speaking of getting me riled up, I'm going to end with one last thing. Let's talk about the city firefighters. CAO Jason Burgess, the Penguin, as I lovingly refer to him as, has come out and defended his city's position on sending dispatch to St. Catharines. Okay, Jason, come on, give it to him. All because the union of spoiled brats have threatened legal action against the city if they moved it. So he had to come out and defend his position. His take on it, it's a repeat of what I keep saying about it, is that he can save the taxpayers money by moving it, all without sacrificing arrival times or safety. And he's right. Technology gives us better call times, and since St. Catharines has a full-time staff taking care of 9 other municipalities as well as Niagara Falls, there's always staff to take calls. They run the dispatch more efficiently, more economically, and it will save taxpayers money if we move it there. It's a win-win situation for Niagara Falls taxpayers. Now, this is where I get PO'd. We've given the firefighters everything they've always wanted. Sunshine list salaries, every concession, even a $3 million new fire truck. When they ask for it, they get it. They get sunshine list salaries. They work 9 days a month. And most have second businesses because they have so much time off. I mean, they work 24-hour shifts. I think they figure 9 hours a week or something like that. Like 9 days a month they work. Take off a couple of personal days and all that. Yeah, not very many. All the taxpayers die and we pay them. First time taxpayers ask for one concession, one small little concession. Move the dispatch to St. Catharines where we can save the taxpayers money and be more efficient. They want to get the lawyers after us. They lawyer up, hire some shyster to threaten legal action against us. Yeah, they say against the city, but you know when they say the city, you know what that means? You and me. We're the city. There's no such thing as the city is not nothing. It's us. We pay for everything. We're the city. Now our Penguin laid it all out pretty plain. In plain language, everybody can understand. We legally need to install our own 911 next gen 911 system, which will cost $500,000 of overhead yearly to maintain our own systems. The upgrade is going to cost around $800,000 of capital budget, and it has to be replaced every 5 years. Then we have to have 2 dispatchers, and that right there is another $800,000 to $900,000 a year. We only have 1. We got to have 2. Get the operating standards that they want for call centers. Dispatchers go through a call center. That's what it's called. When this first came to council 2 years ago, council folded like cheap suits as 40 or more firefighters crowded the council chamber. Our council said no to moving dispatch. Big mistake. I said it was a big mistake then. The Penguin tried to tell them why it was a big mistake. They wouldn't listen. I said it's a bad decision. Plan was to move it then to St. Catharines, and the people who work at our dispatch here would have jobs. They would go to St. Catharines and work. They wouldn't lose their jobs. Well, that's off the table now. Since council said no, now they're saying, well, we don't need people. We didn't think you were coming over. Council made the decision. We hired people we needed. We don't need any more people now. We have enough to be able to take on your dispatch as well. So that isn't the case any longer. People who work on dispatch cannot go to St. Catharines as it stands. They might be able to get there eventually, but there's no guarantees. You snooze, you lose. I've really had it with these spoiled brats. I want the Penguin and City Council to approve a full review of the department the expense of 24-hour shifts, everything from A to Z. A department review to cut costs. The department represents 30% of our budget, the largest drain on taxpayers' account, and it has to be totally reviewed. Yes, there was just a 10-year plan presented, but the plan did not tackle any efficiencies that could be found. I'm not saying that they're not running efficiently. I am saying that we don't know, and until we do a total review, we won't know. I want to know. I think taxpayers want to know too. Now, of course, a retired firefighter, a mouthpiece for the department, Fred Audibert, and I know Fred, good guy, great guy, continues with the gaslighting in letters to the editor, trying to pressure council by using the old, they are professionals, these dispatchers, and they know our streets, our landmark, and our residents. Like that has anything to do with dispatch in 2025. He claims that council's vote to contract work out isn't about efficiency. It's about cutting corners and pretending it's progress. No, it's about efficiency. It's about saving taxpayers money, lots of money. He claims council vote to contract out work isn't about efficiency. No, this is from a guy that made a sunshine list wage all his life and is getting a pension that would make regular humps on the street, slugging it out 8 hours a day, cry. I get it. He's sticking up for his union brothers and sisters. I understand, Fred. But really, let's call a spade a spade. Technology has made his comments ridiculous. I guess moving to motorized fire engines from horse-drawn fire wagons, that kind of progress wasn't about efficiencies. It was about cutting corners and pretending it was progress. You know, all the horses were retired, Fred. All the men who had to use pump the pumps by hand because they didn't have machines. They don't do that anymore neither. They had to be let go when we got fire engines, mechanized fire engines. Seriously, his argument is lame as hell. Come on. I want to congratulate CEO Burgess and City Council for finally voting to move dispatch and urge them to start a full departmental review on the fire department. They want to lawyer up and play hardball. I want our council to play hardball. And I think $5 million, maybe more, maybe less, can be cut from their budget, no problem. Just do it. Comments on the video. Tell me if you think I'm a jerk or if I got it right. I don't know what you think, but I know one thing. I want a whole review of that department now that they lawyered up and are threatening us. I don't know how our city council sits there and puts up with being threatened. If it was anybody else, believe me, they'd be lawyering up and everything else. But you know what? The fire department is sacrosanct. Nobody wants to talk about them or against them or review their department. CAO Burgess does. I don't know if city council will let them. Stay tuned to this one. Thanks to Ray Spiteri for the great article in the review on that. And I probably should be thanking other people too here for the articles they write, because there's so many great guys from John Law and Allison Langley, Bill Sawchuk. There's a ton of people who write these stories that I get in the review. I don't have a lot of kudos to them other than they're all great, and I get to use a lot of their stories over the review and St. Catharines Standard and also Fort Erie Meteor, whatever it's called, and Welland Dispatch or whatever it's called. But anyway, that's it for today. I'm done. I'm done for today. I'm over. Gary, I gave you an extra 5 minutes. You owe me 5 minutes. We're going to talk about the other stuff I have on page. I still have these pages. Look, I still have 3 pages of stuff to talk about. Some of it will be talked about tomorrow's show. So tune in. I got sad news from Niagara Falls, and Canada is so screwed, and Canada's lost its measles-free status, and left-wing loonies are coming out of the woodwork in the U.S. Oh, I got lots to talk about every day. My name is Paul Calamere. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q. Thanks for tuning in. Love you all. God bless you all. Support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, Hamill Machine Company. Tomorrow is finally Friday. We'll go through everything I didn't get to today. Any comments, we're going to get in there tomorrow as well that have been all week. It's been a long week. Lots going on all over the place as usual. I'm here talking about it and giving you my opinion. You may not agree. And if you don't, leave a comment. Tell me you don't. And we'll talk about the comment as well. We got lots coming up as well as we roll towards November 25th and the budget. Monday, I plan to do 100 more pages. And then we'll go through the rest of the week and finish off the capital budget as we move along. Oh, and then we're into December, believe it or not. What are we on? The 14th, 13th today. We only have 17 days left, a couple weeks left, and we're in December and Christmas and everything. My goodness, time flies. Have a great rest of the day, everybody. Dodge the rain. If it does rain, I hope it don't. We'll see you tomorrow at noon sharp on Your City, Your Voice. Promises made, promises kept. Thank you to all my listeners. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to all my viewers. We couldn't do it without you, and we sure are happy that you bothered to tune in daily, I hope, to see what the heck's going on. And I'm going to give it to you straight. Anyway, take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Ciao, ciao.